and so forth. And usually, an instructor just leaves from 10 minutes to be able to do the homework. So in the flip, it goes the other way around. So before class, students learn everything. So they lots of materials. It can be a book as well, usually it's in form of a video, and it can be uploaded of information things before class, and the still needs to advance, even way need recorded, classified, put somewhere on the web, and it's we'll get it on later stages, but it's much more work upfront for the instructor. And then in classroom, students are already prepared. We have very specific questions that they have in mind. And if those questions, for example, collected before that, then they start, oh, the question, and they are prepared to answer them and to address specific needs of this group of students. There is a certain skill that is always being learned, whether it's something very practical or something very abstract. There is still not just listening to the part. There is always some kind of application that's going on, whether it's to solve an equation or prove a new theorem or write a program or I don't know run an experiment yourself. It's always some practice. So that is what is done during class. And then the students are already prepared to try, and the instructor needs to just guide them with giving feedback, with telling what can go wrong, and so forth. But give specific feedback to people who are already doing some stuff. Then after class, students continue to continue to do the same as they're doing during class, and the instructor is allowed to put some additional information that was, for example, requested by students during the class, but was not available before that. And in their office hours, students see how is needed, and the instructor continues to guide students. So basically, a lot of stuff is done before class. So they need to learn everything, and the instructor needs to prepare lots and lots of stuff up front. And then in classroom, you actually start doing some practical stuff. You start applying things. You start learning how they work, and this actually leads sometimes to better results. So to summarize it, what is usually done in class is done at home. So lectures and exams are done at home, and the application, the skills of the things, the assignments, they are done usually at home, but in flipped case, they are done class. So there are a range of consequences uh, that are you know that follow immediately from application of these things. From stores. And one of the things is better utilization of teachers, better use of class time. So so some people also claim that this is not the case because they say yes, if you have the sage on the stage thing, then you bring one guy who knows everything, you put him there, and you can put 1,000 students in a room, and then they will listen to that person, and so the knowledge will get delivered. But in a flipped education, you get more one-on-one interaction, and teacher can give specific feedback to more people. And the lectures, yeah, they are also recorded one, and technical possibilities allow us to just post them online somewhere, and then it's even not doesn't need to be limited by how many people fit in a room. It can be tens of thousands of people who are just on the internet and happen to stumble upon the video and like the topic it explains. Then it's better pacing of the learning process. So some students learn faster, some students learn slower, and they also have different way of doing things. They all have different speeds, they have different backgrounds, and since it shifts this learning in parallel parts to them, allows them to pace their own learning process the way they want. If they are better, I don't know, at learning at nights, they can learn at nights. If they want to do for at a weekend from the early morning till the end of the day, sure. If they want to stop every 5 minutes to drink a cup of coffee or a can of Red Bull, they can also do that. It's not advised, but they can. And explore basically they never without trusting the previous material or we assume. With those assumptions, it might not work. Some students will also have some things on that. It kind of solves the problems of people who are just not present at the lecture. Because in classic education, there is a lecture, the professor is there, they want to tell you stuff. If you listen to the professor, then you don't know what was going on. Nowadays, some people start quoting, but of course, it's a range of pros and cons. But in this case, you don't for the really learning process if you miss the class. You do, of course, miss the application part, and that's too bad. But you can still easier catch up with other students if you just miss class a couple of times because you were, I don't know, sick or away or something like this. Then flipped education provides a lot of data that can be collected either easily or even automatically by students. Oh, sorry, by and basically can improve their courses just because they have much more data, know what problems do the students experience exactly, and they can adjust these things and next do it slightly differently or make all kinds of innovations, changes to their courses. Uh, but here needs to be restructured. So it's there are no like 2 hour long videos in here's a 5 to 15 minutes one little story that goes from introducing a concept to some useful features of this concept. And if you don't get it from the first time, you can rewatch again. If you know already something about a small part of what is being told, you can skip over it. If you know a lot about a particular, you could list of all these videos and you skip those that interesting. Then it enables students to get to other sources of information, which some people consider bad, but it's usually good because they can ask their peers, they can ask other students, they can learn from them, or just other friends outside learning environment. They can ask their parents or other seniors in the companies that they work at, for example, if they are part-time students. And then they can go on the internet to also ask questions or look at websites in case of exchange overflow to get some extra information. On the other hand, it increases screen time. So basically, when you are watching a lecture into front of your computer and you look on the screen and you get the information from there. Some people think that it's worse because you have kind of human interaction when you see it in the lecture hall listening to a lead person. But well, I don't know. I personally don't see that much difference between talking to a person in person or talking through some technical infrastructure, but it might be an issue to some people. The probably one of the biggest downsides of flipped education is that its environment for learning is uncontrolled. So why do people in general go to university to study, or to a school, or to some other educational facilities? There is a controlled environment. Basically, they make sure that all the people who enter have the necessary level of knowledge to proceed, and they also, can, for example, have, if we have 100 students, we can make sure that we have 100 computers with the same stuff installed on all of them, and they click on the same button and thing happens. Of course, it never goes as perfect as that, but it's very close to that. On the then it might become strange. So if you have a lot of flip course with a lot of videos, then people need to go over videos every day, which may be more or less feasible for some people. Some people have more hardware or better hardware or internet connection. Uh, are only small letters that are on a video, and then they will have unfair disadvantage compared to people who have huge, very good internet connection, lots of gadgets to watch it. And of course, people who have one desktop computer in the whole household, they need to share with all the other family members, and then of course it gets hard to get, for example, several times through the material as some other people who have like tablets and really watch it even more to the lecture. And in general, it's suboptimal conditions. There are some distractions, there are some inconsistencies, and so forth. If teachers are, if in general your case is if you are very concerned about this, then you should be very careful with what you do. And another bad downside of fifth education is it's really it needs to you need to be prepared to invest quite a lot as a student and also as a teacher. So if your teacher doesn't have to prepare their lectures, and this is definitely if if you yeah, some professors that have been teaching the same course for many years, and some classic course that changed that much, they don't really think, they stop and they need to look at what kind of topic is today and then go and make a story. If you just how much time they need to put into recording all the videos and making all kinds of all kinds of tests, it's just unbearable, and they will probably refuse to do that unless they just want to do it for the sake of trying new give lectures with uh, effort as possible, then be a very dangerous step for you. If you have students who are not motivated to learn, that's a very big deal that education does not solve. So it actually makes it worse. It produce better results for people who fail their courses for various reasons but want to get through it. But for example, just require more time to learn, or more, different education, get too stressed on exams. That helps. But if people just don't like to learn, don't want to learn, then yeah, they sleep on the lectures. But in this case, they will just sleep home without going at all. And another problem is symmetrical. So if you have underqualified, flipped education involves a lot of open discussions questions that you are either semi-prepared or you're not prepared to deal with. And yes, if you only know what's in your slide, it'd be very challenging to operate in such an environment. But the results that have been reported, this is one of the numbers that is shown, is that uh, people courses, and there are other people who have failed courses in the classroom. Okay. Okay, so summary is a classwork and homework are flipped. Then the teacher's work is to provide video tests and do some practical stuff and to provide lots of feedback to people who are theory of those classroom duties that is learned at home, based their own environment, with own time frames, frames. The learned in class, and the whole thing actually works if everybody is motivated or smart. But since there is no formal definition of smart, this is one of the models actually being applied to investigate and shows that the farther you are from the center of this content knowledge. So you need to know what you're teaching in more with if you're teaching software engineering, for example, you need to know an awful lot about software engineering, software works, how it's made, and what's the practical side. What are the frameworks, technologies, languages of today? Then here you have pedagogical knowledge. You need to not only know the content as such, you need to know how to structure it, how to explain it to students, how to understandable. And technological knowledge. First, if you need to pre-record stuff and then collect data automatically from tests and so forth, you need to have the infrastructure, you need to have how to connect the video to a computer, what software to use to data to process the videos and so forth. And the farther you are from the center, so if you're far from the center with respect to content knowledge, so somewhere here or there, then you will quite a lot experience problems with students asking questions they don't know to. From part, then you will face the problem of students understanding the videos. You know quite a lot, you record a video, and then students they just don't get it. They don't understand it. Your stuff is not understandable. So it is still a problem of the teacher. And then if you are have a problem with technology, some universities have their technological departments that can help you record video, do some stuff. If there is no such department, and if you don't have anybody to help you with this, then you also have a problem. So let's know for education. Academy was one of the places that was started like 6 or 7 years ago. They're still going very strong. They have quite a lot of there are a lot of people for Udemy was started in 2010, I think, and still Udemy last year or 2 years ago, and especially is now very popular. There's a lot of courses given by very well-known people who used to write books, but they give from all over the world who would never have a chance of meeting those people. They are following this. There's another website you might already know. I do for some videos. It's called on YouTube. Actually, the how to education. A lot of universities are regular lectures given by professors and putting them online and getting a lot of views because if you say that the big shot professor is giving this lecture and you want to watch it for free, then sure. I mean, at least if you have good enough internet connection to download this lecture, because that one is usually like 1 hour, 2 hour chunk. And then people were doing it quite often, and then this whole idea kind of came to existence because of this sort of thing. Email is a website for nice advertisements. SlideShare is a kind of a way to share slides that's becoming slightly old-fashioned, but quite a lot of people still use it. It's just slides, really. So you upload your slide deck there, and it's there as a slide deck. Everybody can go there and flip through it without making a lot of plugins or downloading some files or something like this. Screener is a Java-based thing that runs in your browser and records a screencast. For example, teaching something related to software, you can run a piece of software that you want to explain, and you can click on particular things, and you can record your voice with it to explain what's going on where. Camtasia is a thing to record also, I think, also from online. Tegrity and Panopto also used a lot with flipped education. And also there is a thing called Wikispaces, which has also some infrastructure around it. And these are just examples. There are quite a lot of other websites, toolkits, and so forth to help people flip their own classroom. How to flip your own classroom if you so we need to figure out where exactly does it fit in your course, in your thing. It's not applicable at all. Maybe it is, but then on a particular in a particular way. Then you need to start spending time in class by giving feedback to students. You have to make the connection between classwork and homework very clear. So in one of the courses we're kind of we're approaching this stage where we also scheduled a separate thing besides practical thing and a theoretical thing. There's also one thing that's we call it a workshop. It's specifically meant to connect those two, to explain the link and to give feedback to students. So when we have completely flipped that classroom, then we will just get rid of lectures, and that would be the main part of our stuff. Then you definitely need to adapt your materials, because not all courses are structured in such a way that you can easily make students able to consume them naturally. And then you need to extend learning beyond class and again allow people to continue after that. I've put some sources that I used, some books and papers that were written about education, usually with examples or case studies of how people have used it in the past. So the sources for all the things that I've used are on the bottom of each slide, unless it was in public domain, in which case the source is just not given. The slides are already posted on this URL. I've used two open fonts in this presentation, and if you have some questions, you can ask them. And if you're recording, you can stop.
Bobby, thank you for giving your presentation.
Thank you.